All right. Well, RFK Jr. admitted on camera the real reason that these drug companies buy so much airtime on the major networks. And he is going to war right now, wanting to crack down on all of these drug ads that could cripple some of these broadcasters. But here he lays out on camera the real reason these drug companies buy so much airtime on the major networks. Watch.
The press now gets, the mainstream television networks. And Roger Ailes told me one time that 75% of his advertising revenues on the evening news divisions were pharmaceutical ads.
I believe that just by observation, just as a consumer.
I mean, you can watch it. You can watch brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah. If you eliminate big food and pharma from just, if you watch the
bankrupt.
So it would have been Super Bowl ads.
Those companies are doing that partially because the evening news is very attractive to drug companies because young people don't watch news. It's all older people, and those are their customers. They're people who are taking all this whole, arsenal, this battery of drugs. But they also do it to control content.
Ah, there it is. To control the content, to control the narrative. So there's no dissenting voices on any of this. And Kim Bright has been battling Big Pharma for 50 years. She knows their game plan better than anyone. She was Maha before Maha even existed. Our audience loves Kim because she has no filter. She has a strong bullshit meter. And Kim joins us now. Kim, I mean, so we really know the playbook here. It's to control the content. It's to control the dissenting voices on these networks, isn't it?
Yes. And, they used to market directly before 1981, directly to the doctors. But starting in 1981, Big Pharma started marketing through the written ads. And then 1983 came along, started going on television ads. And Clayton, I did some research and I found out back in 1995, they were spending $360 million. By 2006, they were spending $5 billion. And by 2024, almost $14 billion. So we know that we've been inundated and brainwashed with this amount of money going in there. And again, you just turn on the TV, you see what's going on. Every other ad is brainwashing to think that, there's nothing else to do out there to take care of our bodies except take drugs. And then we will be happy and romping through the daisies and singing these wonderful songs. But look at all the side effects at the end of the commercial. Yeah, bunch of crap.
It is a bunch of crap. Last week, I did a segment about the new FDA-approved HIV vaccine, which you're supposed to take twice a year. And we played a clip of the news anchors breathlessly excited about it without telling the truth about it. For instance, that people on these PrEP meds get different STDs at a greater rate. And also it's made to keep women in Africa from getting AIDS because they get sexually assaulted left and right. They didn't seem to, they did no research. It was just, isn't this great new vaccine? So that's not journalism. Do you think that if they were not backed by these companies, they might actually have a little curiosity as a journalist?
I would think so, Natalie. I would definitely think so. Yeah, I would hope so. But, Axios did a survey at the end of, I think it was last year, and they found out that 60% of Americans don't want pharmaceutical ads, big pharma ads on TV. 60%. Again, okay, we're majority. And then in 2025, there was another survey done that showed that 93% of Americans back Maha's basic principles. I mean, 93% of them want to know if their politician or their bureaucrat has any ties whatsoever to big pharma or to, the big food companies out there. So, I mean, it's very apparent to everybody except the ones that want to keep the status quo that Americans want the truth. Americans don't want the big pharma constantly inundating them with this crap.
Well, then there's a story in the Washington Post where they plan to the Washington Post reports plan to vaccinate all Americans despite what RFK Jr. wants to do. So I guess basically the headline here is, according to the Washington Post, vaccine makers, pharmacists, professional medical societies, and others opposed to recent changes in the vaccine policy are getting together, Kim, and they're going to create their own system for now recommending and purchasing vaccines, basically in a move to like that will bypass what RFK Jr. is trying to do, according to the Washington Post. Does this surprise you at all? So basically going around whatever HHS is doing?
No, because these people, the rats had to run somewhere, and they're being very Machiavellian, aren't they? I mean, they're grouping together. I don't know if you know this, Clayton, but they're being funded by the heiress for the Walmart, billions, Christy Walton, and there's some new initiative at the University of Minnesota that is called VIP, and it stands for Vaccine Integrity Project. And guess who the co-chairs are on that? They're all involved with this group, and they're advising them and everything. We have the former commissioner for the FDA, her name Margaret Homburg, and she was there for both terms with Obama. She's the co-chair, and of course, she was very excited to rush through drugs and new foodstuffs that contained all these chemicals. And so she's their co-chair. And then the other co-chair is Dr. Harvey Feinberg. He's a former president of the Institute of Medicine. And then they've even got a member of the COVID advisory board under Biden who's saying, oh, nothing to look at here. Don't worry. We're not trying to be shadow to the ACIP. We're not trying to run parallel to them. Oh, we're not trying to be the authority. But yes, indeed, they are. And did you see all the different association groups that are with these people? I mean, let me just read through them real quick. American Academy of Pediatrics, American Academy of Family Physicians, American College of Physicians, American Pharmacists Association, and they take millions in grants from the different, from Pfizer, from Merck, from all these guys, NFID, National Foundation for Infectious Diseases, American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists. They're key group advisory on this board, and they endorse products that they don't even do any research on. And they also took $11 million from the CDC during COVID to push these COVID shots on pregnant women, okay? And we know that under RFK now, they are, the CDC has changed its guidance to not even recommending COVID shots for pregnant women, whereas before they're recommending no guidance, whereas before they were pushing them on pregnant women with really not good effects.
Now, RFK Jr. has said going forward that he will not push any more vaccines without full clinical trials. But we know that the vaccine industry can still sort of manipulate their trials, even if it's against a placebo, by only reporting certain things. We saw that with the COVID vaccine, is that they never actually tested transmission. They only tested symptoms. So if you coughed or sneezed, then, they counted it, that they never came back and tested. So how can we trust this? We have to just literally have people like you and I read the clinical trials and interpret them because they're different across the board. So how do you feel about that?
We all have to step up to the plate and start taking more responsibility for our health. We have to look at things. We can't trust. Now, I trust a whole lot more with who's in power now with Trump and his whole team, including RFK Jr. They're trying to show us the truth. I mean, this whole thing about the old ways, it's got to go, and it's got to stay gone, because they were liars all the way down. They're all about the power and the money. And once you realize that, how in the world can you believe these people? How in the world are you going to use these people as the leaders to tell you what's good and not good for your body? You've got to wake up. You've got to understand that you're the person that's got to take some interest in your own body, and you have to start looking into things. And there's just so much data out there now. I know it gets very confusing, but you've got to find some trusted sources, and then you've got to start applying it and see, well, does this work for me? I mean, God didn't bring down and give us all these, drugs. He brought us down real food. He brought, we existed without these things long before, and I think in a much healthier state.
Yeah. Right. Well, you've been battling this for years. I mean, and now I think we finally turned a corner where, like, natural remedies. I mean, you built your whole company on trying to help people, like, educate people about gut bacteria and all of that. Do you feel like first of all, how important is that? And do you feel like we've turned a corner?
I do with everybody that's in place now, but it doesn't mean that the rats have gone away. They've just, gone underneath dark corners and in caves. They'll be back. We have to be vigilant. And, I've been doing this for almost 50 years. And when I started, people were laughing at me and doctors were telling no, don't listen to her. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Food's got nothing to do with your disease or your condition that is, not doing well. I mean, crazy stuff like this, because I was using what's called alternative methodologies, right? I was actually teaching people what food did for their body and keeping them, from being on these drugs. So I have been fighting for a long time, but I am so encouraged. I mean, we can actually talk about it now. Back when I first started, I couldn't even talk about this. I had to be very, very careful when I'd go on radio shows and everything, how to say things in a way where, the FTC didn't come down on me, or, it's been a journey, let me tell you. And now it's so much easier. And I'm just so glad that we've got the support of President Trump and his whole team now to try and expose us to the truth. But we've got to be smart, we've got to be vigilant, and we've got to research ourselves and depend on ourselves.
Well, before I get you out of here, Kim, I know you guys have what you guys have done at Brightcore is fantastic. I'm a huge fan of your kimchi in a capsule. I take it every day. I've now started forcing my wife to take it. She's been taking it every day. She can attest to that.
Forcing her. I've been forcing her. And forcing it.
Yes. Well, I've been telling her, I've been saying, I've been talking to Kim about this and how important it is for our gut health. And we've got to make sure that this is part of our supplement process every day. So before I let you go, can you just tell our audience about this? If you don't want to, that's okay. But I want to tell you, I'll give you the floor.
Okay, thank you. Again, our gut is so important. Why? 70 to 80% of our immune system's in our gut. And when the onslaught comes from the skies, from the chemtrails, from all the things that we're, having in our body every day, from the water, from the food that's loaded with chemicals, it's tearing our gut up. And our gut starts in our mouth and goes all the way down to where everything exits. And so we've got holes in our gut, leaky gut syndrome. We've got overpopulation of all of these pathogens that live in a dirty gut. We've got to enforce the good guys, the good bacteria in our gut. Otherwise, our immune system goes down the drain. And so the yeast, the fungus, the molds, all of the parasites come in to just destroy us and kill us. And that's what they were originally put there for by God, is when we're dying to return our body to the earth. We don't need their participation when we're trying to live. So what you've got to do is eat a food. The king of foods is going to support that gut the best is called kimchi. And it's been around for centuries, and it's got over 900 different probiotics in it, and some are very unique strains. So it can repair that gut, and it can put those good bacteria way over the bad guys. And what we did, because most Americans have a little bit of aversion to the taste and the smell of this traditional food from Korea called kimchi, this fermented food. So we were able at Brightcore to put it in a capsule so you can have the benefits of better digestion, of skin and hair show up. Skin is our largest organ. It's a defender part of our immune system. So we want to protect that. So that gets stronger. Our digestion gets stronger. Our immune system gets stronger. Our ability to not have brain fog and think clear is stronger because of the connection to the gut, the brain-gut connection. So we're able to put those benefits into the capsules. So you take 3 every day and you are protecting your gut. Think of it as your special ops forces.
Yeah, and someone in our chat room, Catholic Crusader, says she is 100% correct in gut flora health. Yeah, and when you're eating that with proper meat, yes, kimchi. Some people, like your mom, is not a big fan of the smell of kimchi, but she's
you're not raised with that.
She's doing the pills instead.
Yeah.
So you guys, I'll put this 800 number up here on the screen. If someone wants to call you guys and try this out, they can. You get 25% off if you use the code Redacted. You guys have been a fantastic supporter of our show. I just want to say thank you for that. Or you can call that 800 number on your screen, 888-404-6312, and you'll actually get 50% off and free shipping if you go there as well. So our thanks to Kim for that. Now, someone in the chat was asking Kim, will you get gassy? Will you get gassy with this? And I said, I have not experienced that.
Some
I can
people
attest
will.
He's not overly gassy.
Good to know. No, some people will, because when you are overpopulated with bacteria, bad bacteria, fungus, yeasts, and parasites, when they start dying off, you can get some gas and some bloat, but that's a temporary thing. Now, I would much rather go through that stage and have those critters out of my body than have them sitting there and multiplying, where it's going to make me sicker and reduce my immune system. So yeah, you know, it's not all going to be roses for some people in the beginning, but think about the other side. Think about how healthy you're going to be. So yeah, you'll have a little bit of that, but you can always take some charcoal. That helps. You know, they've got charcoal pills, or eat burnt toast, something like that. That helps with things like that. But yeah, if you're really overpopulated, which most Americans are, you may have that. Some people don't.
All right, Kim, thank you so much for this. I am hopeful. What's going to happen with RFK Jr. and this move towards getting rid of these pharmaceutical ads. But I think these major television stations are going to collapse. If they don't have, if like Fox News and MSNBC and all of them don't have billions funneling in from the pharmaceutical companies, I don't know how they survive. I mean, 70% of their revenue is coming from, well, they still have bloated financial products to sell you, like an IRA or a 401k. So that's right.
Maybe they'll charge more for that.
Yeah, they have other things there, but we'll see. But I just think that, you know, I knew that we turned a corner the day that I watched that bullet graze President Trump's ear, and he got up and said, "Fight, fight, fight." And the hand of God is on him. And I know we turned a corner then. So that's what I believe in my heart. And I think we just have to keep going forward. And is it going to be an easy path? No, because we have a lot of opposition. Those evil people, those evil entities and people that run them, they're all about money and power. And, you know, we're about getting people well and telling them the truth and wanting them to thrive in life. So we are at opposite ends, and we're dealing with good and evil here, basically.
Kim Bright, thank you for being a bright spot. We appreciate it as always. Great to see you. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you, guys.